Of my 3 projects, Foreign's material is by far the most difficult to compose. So far this year, I've only written 1 piece of music for Foreign's. It's July, I've passed the 6-month mark already. I really thought that I'd be a lot further along.
The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing.
Hey, I'm the Bun, that 50-year-old baritone guy from the internet. We are here to figure out how to earn a living as a solo artist in super niche music in 2022. And we're going for it despite challenges like Asperger's, mere movement, or average musical skill. Where am I at? We're at 11 tunes so far. I was shooting for 24 jams this year, and that means we're down by 1 because we're at the 6-month point. The big goal this year is to build a solid base of music for our catalog. The Bun catalog, I want there to be a lot more jams there. I want to be able to create kind of on command at a professional level. So doing a lot of work right now is really important to that. I need to prioritize writing for the rest of the year, but there are a few challenges. Number 1, I am a full stack creative. That means that the Bun takes care of all audio, all video, all scripts and copywriting, almost all the graphics, and all admin and social. Number 2, I'm not as organized as I thought. Sure, I have my writing system, I have a schedule, but what else am I spinning my wheels on? Am I programming more beats than I need to? Am I tweaking tones more than playing? What is most important right now? Today is July 8th. I'm going to set aside 6 weeks, July 8th to August 18th, to write at least 5 solid demos for Foreign's. Looking for 2 more energetic kind of jams, 2 more doomy jams, and 1 chill tune. I tend to overwhelm and deflate really easily. Like, I need to have as much set up as possible in order to get anything done. Some examples would be the interface in the computer always ready to go. Guitars out of their cases and ready to go. In terms of drums, I use virtual drums for all my projects, so having as much MIDI ready to go as possible. I've collected everything I've done over the years into 1 session so that if there's anything I can reuse with very slight modification, perfect. It just keeps the flow going. I want to stay in the creative flow and not bother myself as much with technical things. Same thing with tones. I don't mess with tones too much. I use the HELIX hardware as well as HELIX native. And this stuff is all available. So if you want to use the same beats and tones that I use for your own music, I have all of that available on my website. In a natural environment, if you're playing this sludgy stuff through real amps, if you hold a note, it's probably gonna feed back. I booked a studio a little while ago and I went and recorded 2 octaves of feedback, multiple variations. Anytime I have a held note in a recording, I can incorporate feedback. That's also available on my website. This here is my studio space, and I also work a little bit at home. Here I'm using the Mac M1 Mini. It's very small, it runs very cool. And then I'm using the Focusrite 8i6 Gen 3 interface. So if I'm working with someone like Theo, a vocalist, and he needs some headphones, I need some headphones. Show up! You're good! I'm not a bully! I got some monitors here. They are Yamaha MSP5 monitors. I've had them for about 20 years. I've had them for a long time. All of my drum sounds currently come from TuneTrack DFH for every project, and I just process those drums a little bit differently. This here is the home setup, and it is based around a 2012 Mac Pro Tower, a PreSonus USB audio interface. Yeah, it's really, really simple. You don't need much to make a decent sounding recording these days, and I'm really into that because it's more about creativity than it is about studio excellence. Being organized isn't enough. Being a full stack creator, that means the focus is divided. Music mode versus video mode versus content mode. I've been feeling like Instagram and Facebook content is going nowhere and takes a lot of time. The question is, can I put Instagram and Facebook on hold or low priority for the rest of 2022? The question is, if I put Instagram and Facebook on hold for 6 months, will it ruin me? Relying on accidents and waiting for inspiration. Personally, I don't have the time or the interest to wait for any of that. I have a system that launches me into a flow. I've talked about the OEC writing system before, but let's actually go through it. Very first thing in the OEC is the outline, which is like art direction, ingredients, and the sort of part types that we need. The art direction is choppy with these plodding kind of melodies. And the ingredients would be G1 standard for the guitar and G0 standard for the bass. The scales are G natural minor and C natural minor, and the grooves are kind of these chopped up grooves. It's sort of mathy. The art direction for four-ins can also be described in terms of what it doesn't do. So it very rarely chugs. There's very rarely like that's just super rare. There's no double kicks, there's no blast beats. There are no binary riffs in four-ins, what you hear in a lot of metal and gent. And for four-ins, I always use this Warmoth baritone Telecaster, as well as a Jet Gretsch baritone and a Dingwall combustion bass. In the experiment, the very first thing that I always do is the riff dump. And the riff dump is rapid. The whole idea is to do it as quickly as possible so that you kind of get out of your own way. Once I identify some riffs that might work together or that are exciting, I will further develop them. I'll record them to a click, I'll make sure that they're loopable, and I'll explore variations of each riff. Finally, the conclusion, which is the blocks, the arrangement, and transitions. In this section, we're going to pick 2 or 3 things work together really well. I'm gonna make them into full blocks. So I'm gonna record bass to it, do the drums, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna make these loops. I'm gonna start putting them into order, repeating them. I'm gonna get a sense of like what I can do with these parts. It's also gonna tell me what the transitions can be or need to be. Once I sort all those parts out, it usually leads to a final arrangement, at which point I will re-record all the guitars and bass and kind of smooth out the drums. The final bit on the OEC or any writing system, you're not gonna make home runs every single time. I wouldn't sweat it too much. One thing that I've discovered is the more you write, the more you can write. Go where it's warm. Back to the social stuff, I think I'm gonna just focus on the website and email stuff than this YouTube channel and all my Bandcamp profiles. Focus on the core work, do good work, and figure the rest of it out later. Between all of my Bandcamp profiles, my Bun email connections, and this YouTube channel, there are like almost 40,000 connections. I don't think I have to worry about Instagram and Facebook right now. Maybe I don't have to worry about that stuff ever. If you'd like to follow any or all of those things, of course, the links are down below. With the email sign up, you actually get the Concentric Pneumatic four-ins release totally free when you sign up. Collaborations. I'd like to start exploring collaborations. I think I'm gonna do a test run with my pal Artie. He and I, we have twin systems. We both use Reaper. We both use the same drum software. We can both use the Line 6 Helix. Start there and figure out like what does it take for an effective collaboration.